Yo, what is going on? We are back. The season is back. We ready? Hello everyone and welcome back to Mets Life. Because you know when it's about the Mets, it's for life. You already know I'm your host, Rompe, and today we're gonna recap. We're gonna recap the entire weekend series. We're gonna recap everything. And it's going to be fun. So we're going to get into it. The Mets took on the Nationals to start the season, a 4-game series. They won 3 of the 4. And for me, the player of the weekend for the team has to be Mark Canha. I know he only played in 3 of the 4 games, but I mean, of the 10 at-bats that he has had so far, he has gotten a hit in 7 of those at-bats, if I'm not mistaken. So that's huge. That's huge. That's big. Coming out the gate, coming out strong. You know, that's the kind of thing you expect from people when they get signed. You know, it's to And that's huge coming out the gate. To have that kind of production, you know, start the season, and you hope that continues. Also, there was a lot that went on. A couple players got pitched to high and tight. First it was McCann, then it was Alonso. He got hit in the face guard that busted his lip. And then the Friday night, Max Scherzer's start, Francisco Lindor, you know, was showing bunt but he didn't have enough time to pull back, and he got hit in the face, and that set off the entire Mets dugout. They went absolutely ballistic, and rightfully so. It's okay. It doesn't. Well, not to say it's okay. You don't like your guys to get hit, but the Mets have been one of the teams that gets hit the most in Major League Baseball. Last year they led the league in hit by pitch. So it's one of those things where you kind of expect it. The thing that gets me is there's been series where it's like a lot is on the line or things are very serious, and let's say a couple guys get hit and nothing. No reaction, no, okay, we're gonna put our heads down and we're just gonna keep trucking. Which cool, it's all fine and dandy to turn the other cheek, but this is not the same old Mets. This is a different type of year. This is a year that there are a lot of expectations when it comes to this team. There are many, 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 many expectations when it comes to this team as far as how far we're going to go, as far as what we're going to do, how we're going to achieve that. So that is huge. And so what happens is Lindor gets hit, and then Buck Showalter comes out and he just automatically just loses it. One of the surprising things was new hitting coach Eric Chavez got in there and was, face to face with the Washington Nationals manager, Dave Martinez, and he was just standing up for his guys. Buck Showalter, even Jeremy Hefner, they were standing up for the boys, and you got to give them props for that. You got to give them props for standing up for the team. We showed early, like, listen, we care. This matters. We're not here just to get a paycheck. We're not here just to get some experience. We're here to win. And even though it's the Nationals, and yes, we're better than them, we took care of business. Though we lost that game, it was a 2-1 game going into the 8th, and, we blew a couple things up. And we're going to get into some of those decisions in a little bit as we go here. But there's a lot to take away from this whole entire weekend. Lindor got some hits. He wasn't on fire. He wasn't hot. But, it was a short spring. Though he was hot in the spring, not a lot of guys got off to a hot start like Anthony Rizzo. You get what I mean? Rizzo is off to a hot start. But, you saw it even in one of the guys who kills us. Like, he's a Met killer. Juan Soto is an absolute Met killer, and the Mets took care of business when it came to Juan Soto. They handled him very well, even with the bases loaded multiple times. So you got to give props to the Mets pitching staff for just staring Juan Soto in the face and telling him, I'm not afraid of you. And that needs to continue tonight. That needs to continue tonight against the Phillies, because it is very, very important that we set the tone early against the Phillies. I've been on record in the past saying that the Atlanta Braves have never been a team that just I get so frustrated. You get frustrated because we lose a lot in Atlanta. So that's probably the only frustrating thing, is when we go down there, we lose. And we always seem to be losing to them. But I don't give a damn about their players. I never have. Never have. Call me stupid. Call me crazy. I've never cared about any Atlanta Braves player, and ain't nobody out here trying to call me a fake Met fan. So, I hate Philly. I hate Washington. I don't care about Washington anymore because they aren't good. When Philly wasn't good, I didn't care about Philly. When the Braves were winning games and they were beating us, when they were winning division championships, when the Phillies weren't and we weren't, the Braves were the ones winning. and we lost. So yeah, it's frustrating. I guess that could be one of the times where I did hate Atlanta. I do hate Atlanta, but I don't care about them, as like, oh my God, I hate to see this guy. I hate to see that guy. I never felt that way. Maybe Andrelton Simmons and Jason Hayward when they were a part of it. Freddie Freeman. I liked Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman to me was what Ryan Howard was to me. They were both Met killers. Beast when it came to Ryan Howard and Freddie Freeman. But I was a fan of Ryan Howard. I liked Ryan Howard. Growing up as a kid, I was a big Ken Griffey fan. And Ryan Howard gave me flashes of that. So I was a fan instantly, right away. And Freddie Freeman is just such a nice guy. I never hated Freddie Freeman. I hated when he got hits. I hated when he hit against us because you root for the team, right? You root for the Mets. But I to say I feel about Atlanta the way I feel about Philadelphia would be lying to you. And I ain't about to do that. So I hate Philly. The Mets hate Philly. New York fans should hate Philly like they hate Boston. It goes together. Don't like each other, hate each other. It is what it is. We talk trash. We do what we got to do. But at the end of the day, there's a couple cool guys from Philly that I follow on the socials and do good work when it comes to the Philadelphia area and their fandom. Got to give props where props is due. But screw that. We're talking about tonight's game. The Mets take on the Phillies at 6:45. I love those 6:45 p.m. games. If you're down with me on that, give me a nice round of applause for the 6:45 p.m. games. Love those. We got Taijuan Walker on the mound taking on Ranger Suarez. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. Not only because and it has nothing to do with Ranger Suarez. It has everything to do with Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker is gonna be it's go time. And Taijuan Walker cannot be the Taijuan Walker after the All-Star break. He has to be pre-All-Star Taijuan Walker who was shutting it down and striking out 9 per. Like, that's the Taijuan Walker we need. The only reason why I say that is because he can be that. He was that. He was an all-star. He earned that. Hands down, he earned the right to be called an all-star in 2021. But he dropped the bag in the second half of the season, and we paid a big, big price for it. So he has to set the tone tonight. Does that mean that the Phillies bats are not going to get hits? Listen, the Phillies have a lineup that is so reminiscent of the Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins Phillies. And I say that because when you put Bryce Harper, reigning MVP, Nicholas Castellanos, who's an absolute stud, at the plate. And then Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbs, who y'all saw what he did to us last year, right? There's reasons for that being put together. And it's for that purpose only, because they did damage and they can do damage against pitching. They can hit, they will hit home runs. It's gonna happen. But the key here is to do what we did over the weekend, right? Opening day, Juan Soto hits a bomb off Trevor May. Garbage time, but he hits a bomb. Solo shot. Friday, Bell gives the Nationals a 1-run lead with a solo shot. But it was a solo shot. So Josh Bell did what he does but he did it with nobody on base, and it didn't put us in a hole early, right? After that, right, you look at the Saturday game, big round of applause for Chris Bassitt. Big round of applause for Chris Bassitt. He deserves all the credit in the world. That guy went up there and he mowed them down. Got into some trouble, but got out of it. And it was beautiful to see. It was a work. Seeing Chris Bassitt pitch is a work of art. That is exactly what happens when Chris Bassitt is on the mound. And he most likely will be on the mound for opening day at home. So, maybe not. We don't know. But Chris Bassitt basically just shut it down on Saturday, and then in the post game, he laid down some words that got me so excited. He said the words, he spoke in a tone that I have not seen from the Mets in forever. In forever. And I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for somebody to bring that attitude, right? When Mike Piazza was on the Mets, he brought a certain attitude that you knew for a fact Mike Piazza was either going to get a game-winning hit or he was going to hit an absolute bomb. That was Mike, right? Back in the day. And since then, I can't identify that guy. David Wright was a leader. He was a leader of men, and he did the best he could. Wish he could have stood healthy. But we haven't had someone, maybe Noah Syndergaard, right? Matt Harvey, right? Those were the guys that displayed an attitude, but it was different, right? Matt Harvey was young. He was naive, and you saw that. So a lot of his attitude was being naive, being immature, being, and it's fine, right? When you're young, in New York City, you're playing in, I can't say his backyard because he's from Connecticut, but when you're playing for New York, you're playing for the Mets, you're playing in the city that you always used to come and watch baseball games in, so you're synonymous with the area, and basically you're playing for your home fans, right? You're playing for the home team. I mean, that right there in itself is gonna blow your head up and gas you up to a level where you need to keep up with that. And he had trouble keeping up with that. It was tough. It was a lot for him. He created it. He created the beast, but he couldn't tame the beast, right? He couldn't, right? Like how could I say? Like when Bane told Batman, right? You live in the darkness, but I was born in it, right? Matt Harvey he couldn't handle the heat, right? He couldn't handle the monster he created, the Dark Knight. He couldn't handle it. And if there was ever a Bane, which was life, told him that you just live in the darkness. I was born in it, right? That's life. Life will punch you in the face, humble you real quick. Noah Syndergaard had that swagger, that attitude, right? I'd say Noah Syndergaard. I'll give it to Noah. Noah had that ability to look you in the face and say, I'm going to strike you the F out without a problem, right? Remember, 60 feet, 6 inches, meet me there, and we could talk. And that right there is exactly the same attitude that Chris Bassitt had after facing a Nationals team that, we all know the Nationals aren't better than the Mets. They aren't going to be anywhere near as good as the Mets. But Chris Bassitt basically went up there, mowed them down, painted a Picasso, and put in work. And you appreciate that. And then in the post game to say, when they asked him about the striking out Juan Soto with the bases loaded, and he said, listen, man, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are Barry Bonds or if you're Babe Ruth. I'm in there, I'm staring you down, and we fighting. Like we going to war. And that's the kind of guy you need on the mound for this team in this city at this time, right? And you know, you appreciate that, because you got Max. Max is a madman in his own, but he has his own method to his madness. Chris Bassett, coming from Oakland, but he's an East Coast guy, really showed that East Coast mentality. Like, I don't care. I face Mike Trout. I face Shohei Ohtani. Those are the best players in the world, and nobody can dispute that. So what did he do? He said, listen, you're Juan Soto. I like you. You're good. One of the best hitters in the game, 23 years old. Amazing. I don't care. And that, to me, showed something that I want to see more of. So when he faces the Diamondbacks over this next weekend series, I hope we see more of that, especially for the home crowd. Hopefully the home fans are there. They're loud, they're raucous, and they're supporting our boy, so he could feel that love, that New York love. When we were chanting Harvey's better than Steven Strasburg, and that was electric. That's exactly what we need to do for Chris Bassett, because he earned that, especially with his first performance. And so did Max. Max did his thing. It wasn't, completely dominant, but he did good work. The work that he put is better than probably, except Jacob deGrom, maybe. That's the kind of work he put in with that effort, right? So you can only imagine when he's locked in. And trust me, Max is going to lock in, right? The only thing you hope is that he just maintains health throughout the year. Boom. The Phillies are bringing a lineup that will get runs. They're going to score. Because, believe it or not, they got guys in the bottom of the order that have done damage, that have won games for the Phillies against us. Didi Gregorius, Gene Segura, the first baseman, Rhys Hoskins. Those guys, bottom of the order, does not matter. It does not matter. Bottom of the order, putting in work. And they've done it. They've done it. So, to me, listen. A quick basketball reference, right? Huge Knick fan. So, Clyde Frazier said, it was a game, I forgot who we were playing. The Knicks were playing against, but he said, listen, LeBron James is gonna average 28 a game, maybe about 10 assists a game, and about 10 rebounds a game, right? 28, 10, and 10. If LeBron James gets 28, 10, and 10 tonight, good. Because that's what he does. If he drops 40 and then he gets 12 and 10, then he's bashing your face in, right? So if Bryce Harper hits a home run tonight, but the Mets still win the game, that's what you need, right? You need the Phillies to, if they're going to score runs, they have to not be important. Does that mean that it's not going to be important? I mean, no, it doesn't mean that. It just means that it has to come at a time where we can, get our bearings together and just put up a quality inning. Now, speaking of putting up quality innings over the weekend, the Mets showed something. They showed one thing, but they continued another trend. And listen, this is baseball. It's a game of failure. It's going to happen all the time. They struggled Saturday and Sunday with runners on base. And Friday, I think, as well. I think the whole series there, I think they left 18 on base. With runners in scoring position, basically, is what we mean, right? So second and third. That happens. But they did something else that was a little bit more significant than just leaving guys on base, and it's the same old Mets, same old story. They got 2 out hits, which we never got last year. And those 2 out outs with those, hits from Marte, from McNeil, from Canna, those from Nimmo, those hits are important because with 2 outs, runners in scoring position, you bring them in, we get runs, we got the lead, you generally win the game. You grab the concept, right? The Mets did a good job with that. It was enough for me to say, okay, we got something. It's a long season. They're going to improve with the runners left on base. Trust me, based on the personnel we have, it's going to get better, right? So I'm not worried about that. Lindor. We can talk about Lindor and his offensive performance. Was he lighting the world on fire? No, but neither did Juan Soto. We're not going to sit here and call Juan Soto trash, right? We're still going to expect Juan Soto to put up MVP-type numbers. So I'm going to say the same thing about Lindor. Now, defensively, he showed a little bit of wildness. He showed a lot of Jose Reyes in his defense, but I expect him to clean that up. He's one of the best defensive shortstops in the National League. Since moving to the National League, he is probably 1 or 2, right? Last year, I think Paul DeYoung won. I don't know. A bunch of St. Louis Cardinals won the Gold Glove, and but Francisco Lindor, I can expect to be at the top of the league, if not 1, 2, in the league in defense. So I'm not worried about it. Alonso, I love what he said about his defensive mistakes on Sunday because they were mistakes. And mistakes, and when I mean mistakes, they weren't mistakes like, oh, he should have never did that. No, he made the right plays. The execution was poor, right? And what I mean by that is, doesn't mean that he can't play defense. Yeah, he's not good. We all know Dom Smith is great at first base defensively. But Pete Alonso is above average defensive first baseman. Let's get that out the way, right? He's good. He's good enough, right? Better than most. And that speaks big. So he owned it. He wore that loss. He wore it. And he said, I messed up. I hate messing up like that. But he felt that he made the right plays. And he did. Should he have tried to scoop it or bare hand toss? Yes. But the right play was to try to get D. Gordon at home. The right play was to try to go for the double play. Right? But again, D. Gordon is super, super duper fast. When you have somebody that's super duper fast and you're trying to get the play, there's a lot going on. Trust me. Pete Alonso is not Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda, World Series, throwing the ball to the freaking net. Yeah. So this isn't that, right? He made the right play, but the execution wasn't good, and D. Gordon tied the game. The ball was, the ball was on a mission to make Pete Alonso's life hell in that inning. But still, the bases were loaded. It could have been worse, and he got out of it. And with his head up, he's going to come in tonight. He's going to play first again, and he's going to do what he has to do. Pete Alonso is a superstar in this game. I want to let everybody know that right now. Pete Alonso is an absolute star in Major League Baseball. His name is well known. He is going to get paid handsomely. He is going to be a Met for a long time because he is that dude. So I'm not worried about all that. It happens. You rather be on the winning side of that. You rather get out of it, but it happens. A part of that whole bottom of the 8th yesterday afternoon was the bullpen decisions. Now, before the season started, Buck Showalter said, I'm going to get everybody in this weekend. Now I understand circumstances and the situations are very, very important, right? Was Trevor May should have been in that game. All right, so let's say Trevor May is in the game, right? And he does what he did Friday. Now, if Trevor May comes into the game and he does what he did Friday, You feel me? Now, that doesn't mean he should have not have been in, and you guys can put your opinion on that. But Buck stuck to his guns. He said, we got to see everybody. We got to see everybody. And I understand, certain guys were pitching in situations that they wouldn't have been in. Now, let's look at it this way. Let's say if Edwin Diaz wasn't on the bereavement list, right? And condolences to Edwin Diaz, by the way, who lost a loved one this weekend. But if that wasn't the case and he was present, he was there, he would have been in the game. He would have been in the game. He would have shut it down at that point in time. But that's not that's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the decisions that was made. So he made the decision, right? This isn't leaving Zach Britton in the bullpen during your playoff game. Like, you see the difference? This isn't that. And I'm 100% sure Buck is a smart guy. He's learned from that experience, right? So this isn't that. So he got the guys that he wanted to see in there. Shreve did good in the 7th, came back out for the 8th, gave up a hit, and then he went with Williams. When Williams is not used to pitching in that position, and I get it, I understand that. But Williams did the best that he could in that position. Got the ground balls. He let up one hit that was the one that set up the whole thing. But right, it set up the first and third. But Williams did what he needed to do to get out the inning. The defense let him down, and that's just that, right? If Williams gets out that inning, we're not talking about this today. We're not talking about, why did Buck do that? Why was he in there? Why this? Why that? We're only talking about it because the Mets lost. That's why we're talking about it. And we're not about to panic over a decision in the 4th game of the season. That doesn't mean that Buck is going to go ahead and go wild crazy making decisions when it comes to the bullpen. We got to stop living in the past. We got to stop living through anger, through pain, through hurt. Like, nah, this is different, man. This is a different team. This is a team that's built to hit, built to win, built to score runs. You just got to let the boys work. Tonight is huge. Tonight is very, very important to set the tone against the Phillies. That means, does that mean I want them to get rah, rah, rah and start playing crazy? No. But I need Taijuan Walker to limit the damage. That's it. When you face a lineup like this that can hit, that has offense, you got to limit the damage. That's huge. That's important. If we can limit the damage and just score enough to win the game, that's what counts. So that's what I want Taijuan Walker to do. As far as, the save situation for today, because Diaz comes back tomorrow, again, you can expect to see either Adam Ottavino or Trevor May to shut the game down if we need the game to be closed that way. There isn't much we could get into other than, the Grom is missing. And when he comes back, this team is going to be 1,000 times better. But in a way, if you want to find a silver lining, you want to find some glimmer of hope, you want to find a way to okay, let's try to get a positive out of a negative. The fact that we got this performance this weekend from this team, and trust me, I've seen the Mets be in situations where they're facing a team they're better than and then they lose. We've seen that before. It happened last year plenty. They handled business against the Nationals. They did what they needed to do. Despite what, yes, they had a sub-2 ERA, it was like around the 150s or 1.4 something, 1.5 something. But the point is, it isn't the numbers with this one. With this one, it isn't the numbers. With this one, it's the performance. You look at Max Scherzer's performance on Friday. You look at Tyler McGill's performance on opening day. You look at Chris Bassett's performance on Saturday. And then you even look at Carrasco's performance yesterday. Remember, Carrasco was horrible in the first inning last year. Yesterday, he gave up a home run to someone who he's given up home runs to in the past. Someone who knows them very well. And he gave up the home run. But, again, he settled down and he just went on a run. And that's what you want your guys to do, right? If mistakes are going to happen, let them happen with nobody on. That's what limiting the mistakes is all about. It happened on Friday. It happened on Saturday. And it happened Thursday, it happened Friday, and it happened on Sunday. And they were all solo shots. Does that mean today is going to be a solo shot? No, it could be a 3-run home run. But the point is, limit the damage. Okay, if you give up that 3-run home run, are you just going to keep giving up hits? And we got to go to the bullpen early and get David Peterson in there? Or, if you give up a 3-run home, which I hope to God he doesn't, but if you give up that 3-run, are you going to settle down and start shutting it down from there? Because if you do that, then fine. It's okay. It happens. Right? It happens. The point is that you go in there, you perform, you do well. That's what you're supposed to get. That's what we're supposed to get out of it. Right? And you saw some of that on Friday with the Mets, being resilient, coming back, putting up runs, doing what they had to do, right? Max gave up 3. But at the end of the day, it's all right because he shut him down. He did what he had to do to make it through, even with all the delays and with everything that happened in the game. Max still did his thing. Again, like I said, what Max did, other aces didn't do, right? Yes, and I'm looking at you, Garrett Cole. So I'm not worried about that. Max is going to come back. He's going to come back on Wednesday, the final game of the series against the Phillies, and he's going to face Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, we have hit very well. We've done very well. He's done good against us as far as striking people out, but we've won games against Aaron Nola in the past. For me, Aaron Nola is a good 2 guy. He's a great number 2 guy. I know he was up for the Cy Young in 2018, but to me, he's not ace. He's not ace material, right? Like his best is what Max Scherzer did on Friday. Like that is his best. Now, he's done better than that in the past, but that's surpassing your best, right? That's like what Clyde said. That's going over your average numbers. If a player averages a certain number and he hits that number, well, that's what he's averaging on the season. So, you did your job and letting him play his game and doing what he does, but you cannot let that beat you. So again, that is my thoughts on Aaron Nola. A quick around the league. Look at some scores. Look at what's going on around the league. The whole Aaron Judge situation is, for me, in my opinion, the Aaron Judge situation is not good for the Yankees at all. And the only reason why I'm saying that, and yes, I know Michael Conforto is the example, but he isn't the standard when it comes to just making that kind of mistake, right? And that's not saying that Aaron Judge made a mistake. No, he's betting on himself, which is fine. If you, I think Evan and Craig said it. It's it's having the confidence to say this year I'm not going to get hurt. This year I'm going to put MVP numbers. This year I'm going to put the Yankees in position to get into the playoffs. I'm going to put this team on my shoulders and I'm going to do stuff that's going to get me a $300 million deal, right? If that's what he's looking for. But I tell you this right now, on the Yankees side, if you're the Yankees, right? If you're the Yankees, then you have enough money to pay Aaron Judge whatever you need to pay him in order to keep him. If you want him, you'll keep him, right? That's what we're saying here. But what Cashman is saying is, I'm not betting against myself. I'm not betting, but I'm not bargaining against myself here, right? And that's always going to happen with teams. They're always going to feel one way, you're going to feel another way, and it's going to make you feel like there's no loyalty. Like Anthony Rizzo said, there's no loyalty. Now, for him, he might see that there's no loyalty, but, Cashman sees it as, listen, it's business. It's what we do, right? We got to get what's best for us. We got to do what's best for business. And at the end, I think this cost the Yankees Aaron Judge. And I might be wrong. I might be 1,000% wrong. But I feel like this situation with Aaron Judge and the Yankees cost them, the Yankees. Because now, right, let's say Aaron Judge, there's three things can happen, right? Aaron Judge have MVP type season, right? Top 3 MVP. And then basically the top go-getters are going to be vying for position to get Aaron Judge. You're talking about Yankees, you're talking about Yankees, you're talking about Red Sox, you're talking about Dodgers, you're talking about the Mets. Top teams with top tier money are going to go after Aaron Judge if he put up MVP type numbers. And someone's going to give him $300 million, right? Or San Diego. Now, if Aaron Judge puts up Aaron Judge last year numbers, which wasn't 2017 numbers, right? Wasn't the year he should have won the MVP. It wasn't those numbers, but it was good enough, right? Last year, he put up really good numbers, hit 30-something home runs, and he was healthy for the majority of the season. I think he played 140-plus games. If that's the Aaron Judge that shows up this year, right? I mean, that's not good enough for the Yankees to win the division. I might be wrong, and I know for a fact the Yankees are going to win 90-plus games. I don't care what nobody says. They always find a way. It's why I hate them. But the Yankees always find a way to win 90 games, and I believe they'll do it again this year. But I don't think if Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge from 2021, the Yankees are going to just not have enough to win. Now, if Giancarlo Stanton is putting up MVP numbers and Judge is putting up 2021 numbers, now that's different, right? Now that's different. Now that's enough to put the Yankees in a good position, right? But I don't know. I just don't think the Yankees want to pay $300 million for two guys, right? But the Yankees aren't paying $300 million for Judge, but you get my point, right? So the scores, just looking at over the weekend, the Rays look good. The Rays look like the Rays, always looking good. They find ways to do it. They found that magic potion. The Guardians and the Royals doing what two bottom-feeding teams would do, beat each other up. The Brewers looking awful to start, bad to start the season. And they got good pitching. They don't look good. They don't look good. They don't look good at all. Right? They don't look good. Detroit is another team that, I know the kind of talent they have with the young guys that, they got out there. They got talent. The Detroit is going to be good. Are they going to be good enough, better than the White Sox? I don't think so. White Sox are just a powerhouse. But they're losing guys in their rotation. So who knows? That might leave the window of opportunity open for somebody to come in and then win that division. Um, um, the Red Sox over the weekend they didn't look bad. They did what they usually do. They hit. They pitched all right. They did good. They did decent as far as pitching is concerned. But you got what you get from the Yankees and the Red Sox, right? You got good games this weekend from the Yankees and the Red Sox. And listen, you couldn't ask for anything else. The Marlins, they faced the Angels. The Padres faced the Giants. The Mariners faced the Twins again. They're finishing that series actually. I think they're finishing that series, and another team is finishing the series. Oh, the Guardians and the Royals, they finished that series. The Nationals play the Braves. The Blue Jays play the Yankees tonight. That's going to be a good one. The Rangers play the Rockies, and right now the Rangers are beating the Rockies 3-1. The Orioles are beating the Brewers 2-0. The Guardians beat the Royals today 10-7, and the Tigers are beating the Red Sox. So that is, that is the majority of what we're heading into tonight. We're heading into the Lions' Den. We're heading into enemy territory, and we got to come out on top. It's 27 outs. We got to play every single out, right? And no, that's not a Yankee thing. That's just facts, right? It's the facts of life. There's 27 outs in a baseball game. You got to play each and every single one of them. And hopefully the Mets do that tonight. Again, limit the damage. If Castellanos, Harp, I don't think that all three going to go deep. It's a possibility. It's possible they're good enough. But I don't think all three are going to go deep. But if any one of them do, you hope is with bases empty. And in this game, right, as much as it's like crazy because, Didi Gregorius has beat us. Gene Segura has beat us. But you got to let those guys be the one to beat you. Realistically speaking, right? Play to your strengths. The Phillies don't have good defense, so you got to take advantage of that. They're gonna misplay some balls, and you got to take advantage of the miscues from the Phillies. So because they will happen. It isn't a very good defensive team, but that doesn't mean mail it in. That means we're gonna play. We're gonna play this for real. These are two teams fighting to be the best in the NL East, and I feel like the Phillies are every bit in it. So we got to do that tonight. That's gonna happen in another couple minutes, and I hope you guys enjoyed this show. We're back every Monday and Thursday. You already know we're gonna preview the weekend series, and we're gonna review the week series and preview the weekend series every Monday and Thursday. We're here to talk Mets because when it comes to the Mets, it's for life.